insist on it, and my administration will insist on it.
Well, we should give KSM a fair trial, then convict him and execute him. That's how I see it. In America, we confront our enemies in a court of law. We don't put them in a kangaroo court and kill them. That's what the extremists do. Of course, Republicans and their favorite lapdog, Joe Lieberman, jumped right on the fear-mongering today, warning that our safety would be compromised if these guys set foot on American soil. Now, check this one out. Senator Kit Bond of Missouri says this: the Obama Justice Department has prioritized political correctness over protecting the citizens of this country. Kit Bond is an attorney who graduated first in his class at UVA Law School, so I think it's pretty curious that he has no faith in the country's judicial system. How about John McCain getting into the act today? He says today's decision sends a mixed message about America's resolve in the fight against terrorism. Now, I think that's a contender for psycho talk. John McCain supports closing Guantanamo Bay, but it hurts the credibility of the United States. The one sending the mixed messages is McCain. And then, of course, there's Lieberman, who never misses an opportunity to criticize or question the commander-in-chief, President Obama. Lieberman says this: it is inconceivable that we would bring these alleged terrorists back to New York for trial and give them a platform to mock the suffering of their victims. The chairman, did you get that? The chairman of the Homeland Security Committee is worried we won't have enough security at home. Tell that to the mayor of New York. Michael Bloomberg thinks that we certainly do. This isn't about security. It's about political gain. The Republicans will never surrender this line of attack, including Joe Lieberman. Get your cell phones out, folks. What do you think about this? Did the Obama administration and the Justice Department make the right decision to try 9/11 suspects in civilian court? Text A for yes and B for no to 622-639. We'll bring you the results later on in the show. Now, joining me to start off tonight is Congressman Jerry Nadler, who represents Lower Manhattan, including Ground Zero. Congressman, good to have you with us tonight.
Good to be here.
How do you think your constituents feel about this? How do you New Yorkers feel about this move to bring these alleged terrorists back to the ground where the country was hit?
I think most of my constituents are solid, intelligent, level-headed people, and they want justice done, and they want traditional American justice, which is that a person accused of a heinous crime is tried in the area in which the crime occurred. And that's what we're going to do here. In fact, I received word today from Sally Regenhard, one of the wife of one of the victims, one of the leaders of the victims' families, who is thrilled that we're finally going to get a chance to see justice done and to get these terrorists tried, given full benefits of American law, and then the full penalties of the law.
The response from the conservatives, the Senate leadership today, Mitch McConnell said this about the whole thing: there are needless risks from this decision. Our cities will face enormous security problems, and our communities will be potential targets for attack. Do you agree with that? What's your response to that?
I think that's errant nonsense and fear-mongering. The fact is, the terrorists certainly want to hurt us, and if they could, they would, regardless of any trials. But we know how to conduct trials. We know how to handle terrorists and very dangerous people. We have very dangerous people in our maximum security prisons in various places in the United States. Nobody escapes from one of them. We conducted the trials and convicted them and sentenced them to long terms in prison. The people who bombed the World Trade Center, the Muslim terrorists back in 1993. There is no danger from these terrorists. Now, there may be danger from terrorists generally, but no more and no less because of these trials.
What if they had gone the different direction? What if they had tried them down at Guantanamo with a military court? Would you have been okay with that?
No, I would not have. In fact, I think that while I applaud the administration for announcing that they're going to try these alleged terrorists, who I assume are terrorists, in courts here in New York, they also announced that some others would be tried in military commissions down at somewhere. They didn't say where, and that's unfortunate because people ought to be tried either in civilian courts or in military court-martials, and not in these jury-rigged military commissions where the evidence is not as reliable and the standards for evidence is not as reliable. We shouldn't have several different standards where if we think we've really got the evidence, we'll give you a full-fledged trial, and if the evidence won't stand up to quite that much scrutiny, we'll give you a a second-class trial. That's not justice.
Well, the conservatives are out there in full force tonight claiming that this is the wrong move, that we are going to be less safe, that New York is going to be more of a target. And they're indirectly, I think, taking a shot at the security forces in this city. And a response comes from Commissioner Ray Kelly tonight. He says it's highly appropriate that those accused in the deaths of nearly 3,000 human beings in New York City be tried here, and that the NYPD is prepared for the security required.
Exactly. There is no danger whatsoever from the people who are being tried. They're prisoners. They will be well guarded. They'll be in maximum security prisoners. There's no danger of that at all. And it's frankly a strange notion to me to say that we can't try people and we can't keep them in secure prisons in the United States. We do all the time.
Does this help this country regain the moral high ground or take the high road? What message, if any, does it send to the rest of the world?
Well, the fact that we're giving these terrorists or alleged terrorists a fair trial in the United States, in New York, where they committed the crime, puts us back on a moral high ground.
You think they can get a fair trial? You think they can get a fair trial?
Absolutely. I think they can get a fair trial, and I think they will get a fair trial.
Why did the President and the Justice Department take so long to do this?
That I can't answer.
Are you okay with the timing?
Well, I wish it had been done earlier, but better now than later.
Do you think it has anything to do with the President's poll numbers slipping?
No. I don't think it has anything to do with that. They've been going and doing what they have to do on this.
And what's the gamble about doing it this way?
Let me just say, the President's poll numbers are going to depend on the economy and a lot of other things, not on this.
Well, and what's the gamble of doing it in civilian court, in your opinion, if there is one?
I don't think there is any gamble. If we have, and I assume we do, solid evidence, Khalid Sheikh Mohammed, for instance, confessed in open court, they will be convicted and they will be given very strong penalties, perhaps even the death penalty.
Congressman Nadler, good to have you with us tonight. Thanks so much. For more, let me bring in Evan Coleman. He's an international terrorism consultant and NBC terrorism analyst. Does this embolden the enemy, bringing these alleged terrorists back to the scene of the crime and having the trial here? Evan, what do you think?
I'll tell you what emboldens the enemy. What emboldens the enemy is giving them a propaganda issue that they can raise again and again in their video recordings and their sermons. And that's what Guantanamo Bay is. Guantanamo Bay has become, for better or for worse, a stain on America's reputation. And at this point, it is absolutely urgent for us to move in another direction. Now, any direction aside from that, to be honest with you, in my opinion, is in the favor of U.S. security, in the favor of American security. Is New York a target for terrorism? Yes, it was yesterday, it was the day before, it'll be tomorrow as well. But it has absolutely nothing to do with the fact that the trials are potentially going to take place here. It has to do with the fact that New York is a major economic and political center for the United States. That's the justification.
Evan, I've heard the legal skeptics all day long say that this is just going to be a circus, a jungle. It's going to be a legal nightmare because he was waterboarded 183 times. And I think it needs to be pointed out that the Obama administration early in this year, they have ruled waterboarding as torture, which tells me that they wouldn't go into a courtroom unless they had other evidence.
Right.
What about that?
Well, I think if you look at the people that they've picked here, they've picked very carefully. The 5 people that so far are being talked about being moved here to New York are people where the evidence is overwhelming, and it's not based upon evidence that was obtained through enhanced interrogation techniques. Look at Khalid Sheikh Mohammed, Ramzi bin al-Shibh, and Mustafa al-Hassawi. All 3 of these individuals have been identified by al-Qaeda in their own videos as the key coordinators behind 9/11. There's actually video of Ramzi bin al-Shibh and apparently Khalid Sheikh Mohammed meeting with Osama bin Laden, apparently in a planning session for 9/11. Let's also not forget that KSM and Ramzi bin al-Shibh actually went on Al Jazeera and proclaimed their guilt, openly admitted, said, we are the coordinators of the Holy Tuesday operation. That kind of evidence is going to be extremely difficult to overturn. I think the question is whether or not, on a procedural issue like the issue of enhanced interrogation techniques, whether or not the information was obtained through those techniques, is that enough of a problem to cause a judge and a jury to overturn the verdict or overturn what should be the just verdict?
Well, Mr. Holder said today that he thought they had enough evidence to convict, and also he said they're going to seek the death penalty. What if we had gone the route? What if the Justice Department had turned it over to the military and had a military trial in all of this? would that left the appearance to the rest of the world that we're being somewhat heavy-handed? But there is a precedent that was set. You know, we've had military tribunals for enemy combatants in the past.
Yeah, well, I think it's important to understand, first of all, that the military attorneys, both the prosecutors and defense attorneys, are of the highest caliber. I mean, these people are extremely dedicated, and they should be commended for their work. But I think aside from their work and aside from their caliber, I think the issue is for the world at large and for American credibility. Does it help American credibility to put the masterminds of 9/11 on trial in an open civilian court? Does it pose legal challenges? Sure. But for our own credibility as a country, foreign policy, for our friends and neighbors, it is exceptionally important. And, you know, look, these guys think they're real tough. Well, you know something? Welcome to New York. You know, I think there are a lot of people who are very eager to get these folks over here. And if you think about it, in some ways, Barack Obama and A.G. Holder here have put the A-team on this case. You're talking about the Southern District and Eastern District of New York, two of the toughest federal districts in this country, more terrorism convictions than you can count. And I mean, this is really the A-team. I mean, these people are going to attack this with a gusto, and I think you're going to get a fair verdict, you're going to get a just verdict, and a verdict that's backed by evidence that can be shown and proven in court.
All right, Evan Coleman, appreciate your time tonight. Thanks so much.
Thank you very much.